Welcome, fellow crafters. This is Nala, and thank you for visiting my channel. Today, we're going to do a very cute card. Get it? Very cute. So here I have some masking paper because we're going to do a little bit of masking. If you don't have masking paper, you can use a Post-it, a sheet of paper with some removable adhesive. You're just going to cut a small sheet, and what I like to do with my masking paper is the part that I should not stamp on, because as you can see here, it is difficult sometimes once you cut a piece off of your masking paper, it is hard for you to find which side you're supposed to stamp on, right? So I place an X where the opening is so that I'm aware of where not to stamp, where to stamp, because sometimes I just have pieces of it left around, right? And I'm just going to draw a slight hill so that we can create some type of snow hill for our scene. I'm just going to use a pencil and create a slope. You don't have to be artistic for this. This is very easy. It's like an S, but you don't go all the way. So we're just going to cut this out and then place this on our card panel on the bottom. And you want to make sure that it is covering the sides so that you don't end up getting ink down there. And the colors, we're going to use the stress oxide, and the colors are salvage patina, shaded lilac, mermaid lagoon, scattered straw, and peacock feather. Now we're gonna blend this because I want it to be like a snowy kind of look to it, and but I also want it to have like a kind of like a North Pole whimsical look, right? So colorful, almost like Alaska, with the colors, and but still give it a more afternoon-like kind of a color. So I'm going to put that shaded lilac, then I'm going to go in with some salvage patina, and I put the scattered straw as close to the border as possible. And I didn't really like how it was moving around a lot, so I decided to pull out my waffle flower. This one's the 6x6. I have one that I use for coloring and then one that I use for stenciling. I already marked my 6x6 with Copic markers and stuff like that. So I'm utilizing that, cleaning my surface to make sure that I don't get any additional dirt on there, and then cleaning my waffle flower grip mat just to make sure there's no extra ink on there that can get onto my project. And I'm gonna let it air dry and then place my card panel right on top of it. Now with ink blending, you're gonna place a lot of ink, and oxides, distress oxides are very good for blending. I think it's easier for me to blend with oxides than I can with dyes, but I'm just getting into the whole ink blending thing. I normally use like 2 colors and I can blend those fine, but when I start going to like 3, 4, and 5s, Jesus, I it just I've been good lately. It's been coming out perfect, so I think I've understand it. And the trick is to place as much ink down as possible in layers, 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 going over it, over it, over it, over again. And you want to make sure that you're bringing the color into the next color. That way it can have a smooth transition as it's blending into different colors. So I am going to speed this up so that you can see the blending process but not spend a lot of time watching me blend. Like I said previously, it's really just going over those colors and blending it into the next color, bringing it down and bringing it up when you're blending. That is how you're going to get a perfect blend. And putting down ink, saturate your paper with ink. So you're going to want to use a good thick cardstock so that you can, and smooth as well, so that you can get the best blend that you can possibly get. So here we're speeding it up, and you'll see like I start blending, and I start going over the same exact colors, and you'll start to see it slowly transition and blend in perfectly. And that's really all it is, guys. You don't have to use as much colors as I did. Honestly, I just love that color combination. So I went at it and YOLO'd. So once we have it all ink blended, we're going to let this dry so that we are not taking our images on our fingers and getting all prints and messing up our beautiful blend background. So we're just going to let it slightly dry. And I'm going to take my Misty tool out with my sticky grid, my sticky mat, place my A2 card panel on there. This is, I believe I took scrap paper because guys, I have a lot of scrap paper that I never use. So try to use your scrap papers if you have it, so you're not wasting material. And this stamp set is from the My Favorite Things Beary special. Do you get the Beary joke in the beginning now? Beary, very cute card. Mom jokes. So I'm using the My Favorite Things stamp, and we're just going to ink with my Simon Says Intense ink, Intense Black ink, which is alcohol marker friendly ink. And we're gonna stamp it down, and then I will color this image off camera so you guys don't have to watch me because it's very simple coloring. I did not really do anything special. So I'm going to color this off image, and then we'll get straight into fuzzy cutting, which I am not a fan of fuzzy cutting. I don't like it, but man, I have to get good at it some way, somehow. And the trick about fuzzy cutting, well, we'll get into it. I'll tell you what I've learned about fuzzy cutting. But for most part, me and fuzzy cutting are not best friends, but we are acquaintance. We'll do it if we have to. Well, most of the time we have to. If we decide to fuzzy cut, because we have to. We don't have the dyes, right? So fuzzy cutting is a part of crafting. And the trick of fuzzy cutting is you're supposed to move the paper, not the scissor. Like as a kid, we've always learned to cut moving the scissor around, but the trick is to move the paper, not the scissor, right? And honestly, it came out pretty well. Normally my fuzzy cutting is horrible, but this one actually came out pretty well. I was very proud. Um, I definitely recommend you use a very good scissor. This is my Tim Holtz scissor, the mini one, and honestly, I love the scissor. It is very precise and it's very smooth when cutting. Like it just goes around. And then my sentiment, I'm gonna cut it down with my trimmer. I'm gonna line up the words with my not the ruler, but the the tool that helps to hold the paper down. I'm gonna line it up with that, and then that'll make sure that we are cutting it even on both sides. And then we'll do a trim on the side as well, because we don't need it to be really long. So we'll trim the sides, and then same thing, I'm gonna line it up with that tool. And then I'm checking to make sure that this is decently dry. We're gonna remove our mask. I'm gonna use a tweezer because it was kind of stuck on there really good. So I'm using a tweezer to pull that mask up, and then I will carefully pull that mask off, and we have our beautiful snow hill. I decided I wanted to add just a little bit of blue to the hill to kind of give it like that snowy look. So I took the opposite end of that mask that I cut out, and then I took a little bit of, I believe I took the Mermaid Lagoon, just whatever was left on my blue brush, and I just went over it, not to really go on the actual snow to bring it down, but just slight little blur of blue. And I think that gave it the nice snow look that I wanted it to look like. Of course, though, we got to add some spatters. It's oxides. It's distress oxides. And distress oxides are beautiful with their splatters. In this background, it blended so well, I just went to town it. But I have news for you guys. I finally brought another distress spray bottle. Because if you saw in my past videos, my old ones, it just didn't sprit anymore. It only like squirted water out. So I was able to buy a new one, and this one's working perfectly fine. And I just used a napkin, a paper towel, put it over it to kind of soak up that water and that ink, and we have our nice little splatters. And I love it. It looks perfect. It's exactly what I was going for. Now I'm just gonna trim a little bit off the sides. I trimmed this down to 4 by 5 1/4, and this will just allow us to mat this card panel down on some cardstock, color cardstock at that. I didn't want to take any from the bottom because that snow hill is already quite small. It doesn't have much of the slope doesn't have much there. So if I cut it any lower, it's going to be non-existent. So I just cut from the top, and honestly, it worked. So now we're going to place the bears. Well, trying to figure out exactly where I want the bear to be. I want the mom to kind of like be kissing on the baby bear, guiding it up, and I want the older bear, the older baby bear, to find a, like it's the leader. It's, taking ahead and moving forward and looking back and watching after, watching out from their mom and baby brother or sister. But I decided I wanted to give the sentiment some type of uh, focus. Like I wanted it to stand out more. So I just took my Salvage Patina brush and I just went over it to kind of give that edge a little color so that it can blend in with that background. And then what you saw is that I took the remaining tape that I had and I just placed it back on the roll. And I put foam tape on both the older baby bear and the mama bear. And the baby bear, I just glued that down just because we already had dimension with the two bears being up, and the baby bear is supposed to be under the mama, so it has to have like a slight, it needs to be put back, right? It's not going to be pushed up, it's going to be put back because mama's protecting her baby, her cub. So I just glued that down. I used my tweezers, applied some Beary Arts precision glue behind it, and then place it right underneath the mom where the nose kind of touch, and it'll help to give the image that I'm going for. And I love this scene. It looks like the older cub is looking back at mom and its little brother or sister, and waiting for them while mama bear is trying to push baby bear up. So I added a little bit of C3 Copic marker to the back of the baby bear's back, because the mom is hanging over it, right? So it's going to be a shadow on his back. And then I'll also add some shadows underneath mama bear's feet and the the older baby bear's feet. I thought about using the snowflake, but when I tried it on, I did not like how it looked, so I just left it the way it was and didn't use the snowflake anymore. I'm dying to use a snowflake. I'm not sure why, but I am. So now I'm just going to add snow with my acrylic. I love this acrylic paint marker, guys. I really do. I'm just going to add some snow on there, and the way I'm not really finding a rhyme or rhythm to it. I'm just dotting all the way around. The only thing that I will do is I'll add a little extra dot on the mama bear's back, head, and scarf, a little bit on the baby bear's hat, and that's going to give that look of like snow building up on their back, right? And here I am, of course, adding the shadows, as I said earlier, for the mama bear, baby bear, and older child. And then we're gonna mat this on a light blue cardstock, like a turquoise kind of a blue, I think that that turquoise kind of brings out the colors of the background. So it kind of helps highlight it and makes it stand out, and it works. The scheme wise, like color scheme wise, it works. So that was the color I decided to go with. And then we're gonna go ahead and guess it. You guessed correctly. We're gonna put some sequences. Gotta love sequences, guys. I wanted to glue it down first because sequences tend to take time. So I just wanted to get this on the card base so that that part is complete, because sequences always take me forever. If you've seen my past videos, me and sequences are always arguing with each other. Like, I'm like, no, go here. And it's like, no, I think I should go here. But I don't think you look good there. Like, we're always arguing with each other. Me and sequences, it's a love relationship. We love each other, we need each other, but we are always arguing with where it's supposed to go. But this was not too hard. It was actually pretty easy to do. I just did 6, where I did like 3, 3, and it looked pretty good. I was happy with that. And so I decided, all right, let's go ahead and let's glue it all down. And that is the finished card, guys. And I love how it came out. It's beautiful. Our background looks great. Once again, that acrylic marker picked up the ink, the pigment ink color. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe to my channel to help it grow, and share with other card makers. And never forget, you matter, you're beautiful, and your creation is the art of this world. I'll see you guys later.